Hey guys, this is Ozzie from Wanderlust Awe Syndrome, where I provide unique views, advice, and stories for you, the passionate traveler. Today we're going to talk about an article on Brazil updates entry requirements. This is very important if you're looking to go to Brazil. Brazil for a while has been open for the most part for anyone who wants to travel there. We're going to go through it and see what the new requirements are to enter the country. So we see here, right here, Brazil updates entry requirements, and we're going to get into it. As of February 16th, the Brazilian Health Agency Anvisa has revised its entry requirements for international travelers, now requiring children over 5 from countries that have begun vaccinating children to provide proof of vaccinations upon entry. If you have children now, they need to have vaccines, the COVID-19 vaccine shots, in order to enter Brazil. I find this very interesting. We're going to keep going into this article to learn more about the entry requirements. According to the new rules, children over 5 who are from a list of countries must now provide either physical or photographic proof of their vaccinations. This list includes the United States, the European Union, Argentina, Australia, Bahrain, Bolivia, Canada, Colombia, Costa Rica, Chile, China, Cuba, El Salvador, United Arab Emirates, Ecuador, Indonesia, Israel, Paraguay, Peru, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Uruguay, and Venezuela. I find that Uruguay, which is like right next door to Brazil, a tiny country, I'm surprised that Brazil is requiring that from its next door neighbor, but I guess Uruguay's doing the same thing for Brazil, so it doesn't surprise me. Even so, if you are an American like I am, you are on this list to meet the requirements to enter Brazil. This is going to be the most interesting part. This part right here. Children under 2 years of age must provide a recent negative COVID 19 test. Children with health or humanitarian exemption need not provide proof of vaccination. If you ever had to test a child, which is typically in this country at least through the nose with the swab, children hate it, period. And to get a 2 year old to get tested when CDC has said otherwise, they don't really need to be tested, don't even need to wear a mask. I just find that very interesting, and it's going to be very hard. I would hate to be that parent who has a 2 year old or younger putting a swab in their nose just to prove that they are negative. That's going to be a lot of crying and probably ear splitting crying, and it's going to be a long day just to go out to Brazil. So I find that very interesting that the country is requiring children 2 years or younger to have a negative COVID 19 test. Which, like I said, I can't even get my 6 year old to get a test without freaking out. So I can only imagine being a parent at that age trying to get a negative COVID test to travel to Brazil with a 2 or younger, pretty much an infant. All right, other requirements include proof of a recent negative COVID 19 test and a traveler health declaration form, which can be filled out 24 hours prior to Brazil. Travelers will have to provide an international yellow fever vaccination card too. Right here, this is another interesting thing because you got right here say that you got to do a lot more now to get to Brazil. I remember before that you need all of this. Like Brazil was welcoming travelers from all over the world, and you need to do all this stuff just to enter the country. You just had to just show up and maybe have a negative COVID 19 test, but that was it. Now they're going stricter here. So not only do you have to have proof of vaccination, you gotta have a negative COVID 19 test, and you gotta fill out a declaration form, which has to be filled out 24 hours prior to going to Brazil. The big thing here is the international yellow fever vaccination card, which I find that very intriguing here, but it is Brazil. It is chances are if you go out to Brazil, you're going to want to go out into the forest, into the jungle area, and that tends to have a lot of things that could affect your health, such as mosquitoes carry the yellow fever virus. So it makes sense to have it. It I've got the yellow fever card myself. I got the shot. It is pretty expensive, but if you are a passive traveler, in my opinion, I recommend you get it because there are a lot of places that requires you to have it, especially in Africa or South America. You need to consider getting a yellow fever vaccination because it's there to protect you in a way, and a lot of these countries require it. But that's it. That's another thing that you have to get. So on top of that, if you so not only if you are a traveling parent, for instance, if you have a kid, especially a kid that's an infant, you not only have to get a yellow fever shot, you have to have a the proof of vaccinations, you have to have a negative test, and you gotta fill out the declaration form. That is a lot of work to go to Brazil, and this is very interesting, new. Where before you didn't need all this stuff, you just needed probably a negative test. So I just find that very interesting to see that they have gone stricter. When before they did it, and this was like on the pinnacle of the this virus that you had to, you didn't really have to do a whole lot when you had to go to Brazil. So I just find that interesting. Now, those who do not satisfy the vaccination requirements for COVID 19 and do not have vaccination exemptions will be required to quarantine for 14 days. So it's not saying that they're not gonna kick you back and send you back to your country. You just gonna have to sit at a hotel for 14 days, and that's for a lot of people. That's a lot of vacation time that people cannot afford to waste. So this is very interesting that I see this, that like if you don't, they're not gonna kick you back to your country if you don't meet the requirements. But I expect the airline companies to check all that, knowing that you're going to Brazil, and deny you boarding if you don't meet the specifications. But here, if you manage to get through all that, get to your airport and not meet the requirements, you're just gonna have to sit at a hotel for 14 days and just waste a bunch of vacation time. So, if you're going to Brazil, just keep that in mind. If you like this video, please hit like, subscribe, share this video because there's going to be people out there who are looking to travel. Very so many passive travelers ready to get back out there. Check out all these videos that I've got. They are very helpful. They will help you in traveling, and I'll be seeing you later. Peace.